I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, and this is Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. When I think of Tunze, I think of three things: quality German engineering, virtually silent operations, and owner's manuals that come in 8 different languages. So when Tunze came out with their Silence line of pumps, I knew I had to get my hands on them to try it out. And for the past 2 months, I've been using the Tunze Silence 1073.05 pump as a return pump on my 90-gallon tank, and I've come across some very interesting finds. For the purpose of this review, I use the Tunze Silence pump as a return pump, but it could also be used as a recirculation pump for skimmers or as a pump to move water between tanks. The Tunze Silence line comes in 3 different models: the 1073.02, 1073.04, and the 1073.05. For my purposes, I use the 1073.05, which has a pumping capacity of 237 gallons per hour up to 792 gallons an hour. And with the added jumpers that come with the pump, Roger at Tunze USA told me that you can actually overclock this pump and get it close to 900 gallons per hour flow. In the box is the pump itself with a nice long cord. Also included is your instruction manuals in 8 different languages, AC to DC power converter for the variable speed control, suction cups, and O-rings for the fitted that are threaded on one side and 3/4 of an inch male barb on the other. Now this pump can be run either internally, submerged in your sump, or externally as well. When I first started looking at the Tunze Silence pump as a return pump, the variable speed part of it didn't make any sense to me. Return pumps always run at a constant speed. If you had them ramping up and down, then you drive your auto top off crazy, which would quite possibly put your tank parameters in a big wild swing. This is not good. So I said, why would we need a variable speed return pump? Well, then I sat down and really started thinking about it, and the beauty of that feature came out. When you go to set up your tank, one of the big decisions you have to make is, what size return pump do I need? Given how much flow you want through your sump and then how much head height the pump has to pump back up, picking one is usually a bit of a trial and error. You either buy a small pump and you put it in and it doesn't give enough flow or enough return pressure to get the water back up to your tank. Or you buy too big of a pump like I did, then you have to put a T in your sump to bleed back some of that water into your sump. Either way, it's a pain in the butt. So then I said, well, that's exactly where the variable speed part of this pump really makes a lot of sense. Instead of trying to guess and figure out what pump you need, you can just grab the Tunze Silence, put it in your sump, and then dial in the speed you want. Takes the guesswork out of it and takes any extra work out of the equation as well. In my case, I was able to get rid of the bulky and ugly T-fitting that I used to use to dial back my old return pump. Speaking of less mess, the Silence pump is super compact. It's nearly half the size of my old return pump, the EHON 1262. I'm loving the increased open space in my sump. Between the loss of the T-fitting and the compact size of the Silence pump, I was able to take a lot of clutter and open up a lot of space in my sump. Less mess wins. The variable speed setting of the pump is what really won me over, and there are 3 ways to adjust the speed of the pump: with the dial on the front, the knob on the control box, or through the variable speed setting in your tank controller, like my Neptune Apex. At the end of the day, I had to ask myself, is this pump worth the $200 price tag? And the answer to me, absolutely, and here's why. Number 1, virtually silent operation. I could not hear that pump running. Number 2, that pump ran very cool. It added no heat to my tank that I can measure. Number 3, the variable speed capabilities. Adjusting the speed on this pump is cake. It doesn't get any easier than turning a knob or changing a setting on your controller. Number 4, it's got the Tunze name on it. That means that it's built really well, and if something does go wrong, Tunze's going to be right there to make sure everything's taken care of. As complex and as much as we depend on our tanks all working as a system, if one piece of equipment goes down, the last thing you want to do is be left high and dry. So, I recommend the Tunze Silence pump for all tank personalities, and to find out more and to pick up yours, go to mrsaltwatertank.com/Tunze Silence. I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank. This has been Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. Until next time, have a good one, enjoy your tanks, and know your tank personality.